Welcome, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to our Resident and Family Support Council, where our mission of these meetings is to promote those that live in long-term care facilities to be empowered with information so they can have that life that they need and want and deserve. I just want to remind everybody to please put your questions in the chat. Or if you feel that you would like to unmute yourself, we can also do that, or raise your hand and you can ask the question directly. I also want to ask you if you could please put your zip code into the chat box. That way then we can see exactly who from around the state, what areas of the state are really listening to these meetings. So if you could please do that, that would be wonderful. Today, we've got a really great topic, a topic that is near and dear to all of our hearts in the Ombudsman's office, and that's talking about person-centered care. And what is person-centered or person-directed care? What is that? And the best way to talk about what that is to talk about people's stories and what people have actually done. So today we've invited Michael Brave, who is the CEO and board president of Clinton Manor in New Baden, Illinois, and the administrator of Clinton Manor as well, Cheryl Smith, to talk with us and share with us some of the things that they're doing to help empower us with information for what we could see happening in our own homes, spark us in ideas, so that we can have that life that really person-centered, empowered life that we deserve. So I think I saw Michael and Cheryl. I think you're both here. And we have Samantha that is helping them out. I think she can go ahead, and Samantha, you could go ahead and start sharing your screen if you would like. And then Michael and Cheryl, you can go ahead and you can unmute yourselves.
Okay, I'm unmuted. So
okay, perfect.
And Cheryl and I are here together. So
oh, great. Oh, good. Well, welcome, guys. We're really excited to have you, and you want to go ahead and share this wonderful information with us. That would be fantastic.
Sure. Well, I want to also welcome everybody to this gathering. We really appreciate the opportunity to share with you what we are doing at Clinton Manor Living Center to help people with person-centered care and help us on our journey to provide the best care to those people we care for at Clinton Manor. So I just wanted to first give you a little bit of a background about who we are. Basically, Clinton Manor is in New Baden, Illinois. It's a little rural community outside of the Metro East area across from St. Louis. And it started actually in 1969 as a small shelter care home for local seniors. That was way before there was long-term care. And in the 70s, which actually I was here then, we started supporting adults with mental health issues, people with intellectual disabilities, as well as seniors in the community. Because it's a rural community, we were able to support all three groups of people. As we worked with those individuals in the 80s, it became a specialty home, kind of a unique home with dual license. So it became a small nursing home for seniors and intermediate care, not skilled at that time. And then another portion of the building was for adults with intellectual developmental disabilities. Today, we support 33 seniors in a skilled care home as part of our building in a separate part. And then the other part, we support 51 adults with intellectual disabilities with higher medical personal care needs. Over the years that I've been here, we've built many additions and renovations to create neighborhoods and areas for people to enjoy their lives in their home, both outside and inside. Our administrator oversees both programs, and surveys are done by two different survey groups at the same time by the Illinois Department of Public Health for each program. So a little bit more about who we are then, too, and how we started. We actually started operating Clinton Manor officially under Southern Illinois Living Centers Incorporated in 1988. And at that time, we wanted to be able to offer individuals the best services we could. So we knew we wanted to be driven with a clear mission to drive us each day and make our decisions. So what we did back then was we gathered our team of staff, some individuals we supported with both intellectual disabilities as well as people, seniors and their families, and explored what that meant. Because we involved everybody, the mission focused on how to support, how they wanted to be supported, what their wants were and their needs were. And because we engaged the whole team, we had more of a buy-in from the start of our leadership to provide the mission and fulfill the mission. Today, our mission is we passionately support each person in living a meaningful and satisfying life. So we've been around now for 33, 34 years, and we've learned a lot over those time periods. But one major important piece that we've learned a lot about was how to support our team. We realized a long time ago that if we didn't support our caregivers and our team, that they were going to have a difficult time supporting those that you bring into our homes to support, the people that we're supporting. So this is actually what this is a list of things that we provide our support team with. We continually try to find out from our staff what it is, how can we best support you? What's the best way to support you? Just a few examples of what we do, and it supports us as well as our staff, is our continuing education program. A lot of what we try to do is to build our own nurses. And so we have some really good CNAs on our team, or we have some LPNs that want to become RNs. We offer loans for those staff to become nurses, LPNs or RNs. Actually, and since we've been doing this, we've probably had about 14, 15 staff that have become either LPNs or RNs on our team, who already know the people we care for because they grew up here, basically. The way that the loan is paid back is by working for us after you receive your license. That's just one example. Another, we have well-being programs. We pay $1,000 grand prize for a drawing for promoting staff taking care of themselves, because we want to make sure they take care of themselves. We also, another big program that's been helpful is our loan program. We can loan staff up to $2,000 a year to help them with unpaid expenses that are unexpected. I know when I was growing up, there was many times I had a car issue or a bill that I had to pay and I couldn't, and I needed just short-term money to pay it. We offer our employees at no questions up to $2,000 within a year. Sometimes it may be $500 there or $100, and they pay it back through payroll deduction. So all of those things, and you can see there's many things. We try to make it fun. We do celebrations. We do annual banquets and dance and recognitions. All of those things I think are important in supporting our team. I'm going to hand it to Cheryl. Oh, no, wait. I forgot, sorry. During COVID, that really helped us know that we needed to go beyond helping our employees. So we did things like catering meals to our staff, self-care kits, goodie bags. Our leadership team, we washed employees' cars one day. We took meals to people's homes, to employees' homes, especially those that had COVID that couldn't work. They needed to have nutritious meals, so we brought meals to their selves and their families. You can see there's quite a few lists of that. We have a local cafe that's just a block up. We paid to have staff take individuals up to have ice cream during the summer months when they had ice cream up there. It was all about trying to find ways. And I got to tell you, I have just a wonderful, awesome human resource team that helps do this every day, supporting our staff.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Smith. I'm an RN and administrator. Michael and I have been working together for 20 plus years now, so it's been a long time. He introduced me actually into person-centered care. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how we do some of those things at Clinton Manor. One of the most important things is getting to know each person upon moving in. It is critical. What we do is we complete a getting to know you assessment that is filled out by residents and family. We ask, what support do you need from us to live a meaningful and satisfying life? Here are some examples of the assessment questions. Do you prefer a bath or a shower? Would you like to use makeup, cologne, nail, hair care products? What room temperature do you prefer? What would you like to accomplish at Clinton Manor? And many, many more. We have pages of those questions that we ask. We have come to find when you know their needs, wants, and routines, you can provide better services. The family and residents feel included, and the residents transition will have a much better outcome. Examples of some of those personal choices. We currently have 2 residents that work on staff that do different parts of our new hire orientation. One of the individuals does body mechanics and abuse and neglect, and the other participates in the resident rights and person-centered care portion of the orientation. This gives them purpose, plus they get to make a little extra money. When we have somebody like that working for us, we put it in their care plan, or what we call an ISP, and we do pay them for their services. In the past, we've had residents work in laundry and housekeeping. We have residents that continue to attend their church in the community. One of the other important things in person-centered care is relationship building. Know their needs, wants, and routines. Give staff access to the getting to know you assessment. Knowing as much as you can about them helps with engaging and in turn build a relationship. Encourage staff to build relationships with residents. Schedule staff to take residents on one-on-one outings, weekly outings to restaurants in the community, but you need to include other departments, CNAs, other people from activities, administrative staff, CFO, the administrator, director of nursing, and families we do have go out with us when we go on outings on our Friday afternoons. We haven't been able to do those since COVID, but hopefully they can start again soon. You always want to take a holistic approach to care, the well-being of each person, and not just the medical and task-oriented model. Providing choices to each individuals. One of the easiest ways to do that is with your meals. It was probably one of the first things that we changed was our food and our meals, because we all know how important food is to us. So we do have a big variety of dining options. As you can see, we have our dinner menu there. We have a heart healthy menu there. But if they don't like what's on our actual menu, there's a list of anything that they can, an a la carte type of a list of anything they can order that we will make for them for their breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So we include a variety of dining options. We also have a washer and dryer that is accessible, so residents that want to continue to do their own laundry can do that if they choose. In our home, we've made a lot of environmental changes. The individuals, we encourage them to decorate their rooms with personal items from their home. We switched from an institutional feel to a warm, inviting, and personal environment. In both programs, in skilled nursing facility and the ICFDD, it is divided into multiple households to create smaller group settings. We remove traditional nurses stations. The team staff at Clinton Manor wear street clothes instead of uniforms. It just gives that more of a homey feel, and you don't feel like you're always sick by having a nurse or a CNA or a DSP working with you in a uniform, because it is their home. Prior to COVID, the team ate with residents in the dining rooms while they were eating. Every time you do a task, you need to let the resident know what you're doing and engage with resident-focused conversation, focusing on what they can do and not what they can't. Another thing for us within our organization, when we went a little bit more person-centered, was the institutional language that we use in nursing homes. We use words like admitted, feeders, diapers, bibs, behaviors, and none of those words really are appropriate or age appropriate for the individuals that live at Clinton Manor. So instead of using those terms, it's words like moving in, helping serve with dinner, depends or bathroom assistance, clothing protectors, unmet needs, upset, angry, or happy. We believe when someone moves into Clinton Manor, they only change their address, but still have the right to make personal decisions as they did in their home. Regardless of the risk, they are given support and educated to make their own informed decisions. Those informed decisions are care planned. They're informed and educated choices. Some of these risks are things like smoking, diabetes, and eating outside of their diet, personal care choices, drinking alcoholic beverages, going to get a tattoo, or having a request for somebody to go skydiving. Each day is a new opportunity to better the lives of the individuals we support and to create a community that you would want to live in, as well as your own family and friends. As you can see, we offer opportunities to celebrate birthdays, go camping, Jeep rides, participate in resident council, see the beautician, and more. So I'm going to talk a little bit about a day in the life of person-centered care. So the individual chooses when they want to get up or wake up naturally. Breakfast is served in the dining room kitchenette from 7 to 9 a.m. Usually they're in there till about 9:30, and they have their choice of many foods that will be made and served hot when they are seated. At that time, they let us know what they want for lunch or dinner. When they're done eating, the team will provide individuals the personal care supports they need or want. They will do their activity of choice until lunch. Group activities are available if they want to participate. Lunch is served, and then again, supports are provided, activities of choice. They choose what time of the day they want to take a shower or bath. They choose what time of the day they want to go to bed. We really don't have visiting hours, but we do respect residents' choice on times and where the visits occur, and everything is care planned. Advocating for those we support. Everyone is educated during orientation and annual training on person-centered care. Staff have access to getting to know you assessment. Everyone leads by example, from the CFO to the administrator to the entire team. During care plan ISP meetings, find out what their dreams and desires are and make this ongoing. Constant education with staff, residents, and families. Have meetings with families and residents to find out what they want and need. And instead of saying, we can't do, say, how can we make this happen? What kind of support is needed? Building relationships with those we support, their family, and our team. We host multiple family and friends events throughout the year, which gives us an opportunity to get to know each other, like a fall fest, Thanksgiving meal, Christmas party, and we usually have a spring event. Satisfaction surveys with a small group of residents and families are completed quarterly. Annual community-wide satisfaction surveys with residents, families, and staff are completed. Keep constant lines of communication open. Be accessible to residents, families, and staff. Be honest. Apologize when necessary. Ask them to bring you issues they are having immediately instead of waiting. Invite families along on outings, provide meals for family and friends that visit during meal times. Invite families along during doctor's appointments to assist with the support needed. Families offer words of encouragement and may provide staff with meals and gifts. If you ask and have continuous communication with family, you will find many are wanting to be a part of their everyday lives. The survey process with person-centered care. The survey process is focused on the highest practical health and well-being of the individuals we support. The only way to get to this is to take a person-centered approach in addressing the entire well-being of each person. We have never received a deficiency for a person-centered approach. You must still follow all regulations when you make any changes to physical environment, dining, meals, etc. Personal choices, even if they are a risk to the person's health and may have a negative outcome, you must care plan and document what you have done to educate to ensure they make an informed decision. Revisit these personal choices with them frequently and document. Care plan, care plan, care plan. Of course, there was challenges that came along with the changes. When we first started, we had resistance from staff and residents. It was hard to change them because they were institutionalized and it became normal to them. We didn't push those who were already living here. Instead, we started with residents that moved in during the transition to person-centered care. You must involve staff, residents, and their families when you want to make a change. Have learning circles to get their input. Educate, model, communicate, keep moving forward if you feel resistance. Some of the examples of resistance were when we started offering breakfast for 2 hours and individuals would come into the dining room and sit where they wanted. Most wanted to sit in the same spot. When asking existing residents what time of the day would you like your bath or shower, they would just agree with you on a time. Eventually they would say they prefer a certain time. Preparing meals differently, we had temperature issues and found the best equipment to hold temperature to offer food safely.
So as we presented today, we were asked of what would be our recommendations and maybe some first steps that you as family members might be able to do with the home your loved one lives in. So we brainstormed, Cheryl and I, and first of all, you need to know, and we all need to agree, that person-centered care is not a journey. It is a destination, and it's about continuous improvement. It's never going to be perfect. There's going to be mistakes and challenges along the way, and it's ongoing. So we believe that, as well as we're excited about that because we learn from all of that. What we'd recommend, connecting with the leaders of the home and let them know you are willing to support person-centered care. Bring them your ideas, possible solutions, and concerns. Encourage your home to use the person-centered care assessment during the move-in and ongoing. If you don't have it, help them create it. Take time to get to know other families and ask if you can develop a family person-centered care support team. Keep learning about person-centered care. Person-centered care requires a proactive, positive team. And as a CEO, board president, I know that Medicaid funding is not adequate. We need additional funding to support more staff in each home, because that's how you can provide that one-on-one and that better care for less people you're supporting. There needs to be enough staff to connect with each person every day. So funding is critical, and the people that are out there supporting need to be paid a living wage, a wage that helps them stay in the field and encourage others to join the field. I'd be very much willing to work with anybody and working with the state of Illinois to help keep that message out there so that they can continue to improve the Medicaid funding for Illinois. as you discover new tools to use, share with the leaders of the team, such as today, share information with the leaders of your home and see if they might use those to be encouraged to look beyond where they're at today. Encourage fundraising for new technology. I know that iPads and iPhones were awesome during COVID last year for sure, when families had a difficult time coming in. We had a lot of connections with family using the iPhones and the iPads, or health sensors, items that help improve care and services to the individuals that your home cares for. We believe that leadership training needs to happen regularly and ongoing training in many, many areas. And so promoting and encouraging your home to develop their leadership training. Every supervisor needs to know how to coach people rather than discipline people. They need to help people and CNAs and direct care staff learn how to do it better and explore where they make a mistake and how they might learn from that and how they might get better, and praise them when they do a great job. Those are all leadership skills that are important, that I think are lacking in many organizations today. And as well as acknowledge and help celebrate small successes you've seen in your home. If you see a caregiver doing something that's person-centered, appreciate that. Give them a way to go, something that continues to improve. They're going to feel good about that, and that they're going to continue to do that if they're getting positive praise for that. So that's some of our recommendations and first steps that we might offer to this presentation. So at this time, I believe we were supposed to go for about 20 minutes. It's a little longer than that, but I will open it up for questions.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing, Cheryl and Michael. We really appreciate it. And I have one question that just has made me, right off the bat, is what made you pursue that? You mentioned it's a destination. It's not just a journey. And I think that that's important for people to understand. What made your organization decide to go down this path and pursue this journey?
I would have to say probably, actually we have the ICFDD, and when I first started there 20 some years ago, they were already doing a lot of things that were person-centered, getting their dreams and desires. Their care plans were like eye care plans. I worked in the nursing home industry back in the 80s as a CNA before I became a nurse. And Michael, I think the Pioneer Coalition was just starting at that time, so we had talked about it, and we joined right away the Pioneer Coalition, and we just really went to the meetings once a month and listened to the presenters, and it's really something that's got to get you at your heart and your feelings, and just knowing that you're doing the right things for the individuals and they deserve to continue to live their life in a nursing home the same way they did when they were at home.
So I might add, I think, Cheryl, the tools, Pioneer Culture, the Pioneer Coalition, provided some wonderful tools for us to expand on what we already knew was important. But I think I've been very, very fortunate to find like-minded team members, and that's one of the other things that you need to find team leaders and leadership that has a passion for helping people continue to live their lives. And I don't know, you got to ask the right questions when you interview, but I grew up with it. I had a mother who helped me understand how important it is to listen to each person and understand what they needed and to do what we can to do that. So it's getting those leaders excited about doing that. It's exciting to see somebody laugh and have joy in their lives every day. And that's really what encourages us. We can see people smile and enjoy and get something, even if it's a little something in a day.
Well, someone has asked in the chat about the staffing, and it was wonderful the way you spent that time talking about the staffing and how, really to make the staffing feel valued so that they can care well for the people that live in your community. So someone has asked, they're curious about your staffing ratio. They said they completely believe in the manner in which your residents are treated, but it's so hard to find facilities that will maintain this. They may try it, but it seems they always make staffing out to be the issue. Can you speak to that?
Sure, I can speak to that. In the ICFDD world, our staffing is probably around 1 to 4, is 1 DSP to 4 residents. And then we have 3 nurses on staff on the day shift, the evening shift, and then 2 on the night shift. On the SNF side, the skilled nursing facility side, we run around 28 or 29 residents over there, and we like to have 4 CNAs and 2 nurses on the day shift, and then 4 CNAs and 2 nurses on the evening shift. And on nights, we have 2 CNAs and 1 nurse. We do have excellent staffing ratios. That is something that we've worked really hard to get to where we're at. A lot of the stuff, though, that you do with culture change and person-centered care doesn't have to be more work for the staff. Like I said, just start slow and move that way, because it really, prior to, when somebody moved in, we just put them in a slot where we had an open shower time. It just seems like everything works out when people just get to choose when they want to take a shower. Doing the dining in the dining room and offering the variety of food, we probably have less food waste because people do have such a variety to choose from, so they know what they want to eat. Probably the cost was buying the steam tables and things like that. Letting the resident decorate their room with stuff they brought from home. I mean, that's not going to cost us anything. Maybe a little maintenance time to hang it all up. But we do have excellent staffing ratios, and it is critical, I think, in this field, particularly in skilled nursing facilities. We really need to get those minimum staffing ratios up because when you have higher staffing ratios, like we have been able to do for the past few years, you have much better outcomes. People are happy and truly enjoy living there.
And you're full all the time.
And you're full all the time.
So
do you feel that your practices then, how about your turnover? Has what you've done for the staffing affected your turnover?
The turnover kind of comes and goes a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, like every nursing home, I mean, we've had struggles with staff and we have a nice core of staff, and then we have the revolving door, of people that come and they are challenged. We challenge them to do what we feel is right, and some do and some don't. And so we are constantly advertising in all different ways. We do have turnover. I cannot say we don't.
Right.
And probably more in the last year because of COVID. But we still maintain that core of people.
Let me join this conversation for a minute. So the reason Michael and Cheryl are here today is I'm part of the planning team with the Family Resident Council. And as a family member of somebody who has a loved one in Clinton Manor, I asked them to join us. I constantly, as I speak publicly, tell people that I'm very lucky my son lives in a facility where they care and they go above and beyond. And I didn't know what resident-centered care meant when he moved in there. But the things that it does involve and does for the residents went on from day one. I mean, and it's little things. I mean, when my son moved into Clinton Manor 8 years ago, I was recovering from heart surgery and I wasn't allowed to drive. And they made sure until I was able to drive and my son was transitioning, they had somebody come pick me up so I could be there helping my son transition in. These things go on every day. Different things, the families at Clinton Manor, we had the same struggles through COVID everybody else had. We couldn't see our loved ones at all arrests, but they tried. They did everything they could to try to work with us. And even as I have been the person to fight the system in Illinois, they've worked with me, and helped with some of those things. And when Michael and Cheryl talked about going to your facilities and talking about this, it's the only way we're going to change the culture, is that they have to see that it can work, because our residents are happy. When they talked about the 2 residents that work for them and help with new hire orientations, one of them is my son. And that was the first thing he told me this morning is, hey, Mom, I get to work today. And he's excited, and is every day perfect? No. Is every day, are there mistakes sometimes and all the rest? Yes. But they are just handled differently when you're in a building where everybody's working together than they would be in a lot of other facilities, I think. Because I definitely know from people I've talked to all over the state, we don't have the issues other people have.
It sounds like relationships are really the core of a lot of what you're talking about. And Pat, you might want to unmute yourself. I'm not clear on the question. What criteria do you use to determine suitability for your environment? What kind of assessment tools do you use? I'm not clear on the first part of that question, but the second part of that question, if you would like to unmute yourself, Pat, please feel free to do so. But if you, in the meantime, while Pat's unmuting yourself, if you could talk about that assessment tool, you mentioned that you use a getting to know you assessment. I was also curious about that. And I was also curious about how do you make sure that information gets utilized and carried forward to the staff members so that they are using that information that you've obtained from that assessment tool?
Sure. Once we get that information, I'm going to say the assessment is probably about 10 pages long. I mean, it asks a lot of questions about that person and how they have been living and how they want to continue to be living at Clinton Manor. We use a lot of that assessment and we put it into their care plans. But then we also do have a book that we do put the assessments in so that it's accessible to all the staff, that they can go into that book and read this assessment when we have new admissions. So they have information about them. So when they go in the room, they know that they were maybe a teacher or, a stay-at-home mom, or what their daughter's names are, or what their son's names are, so that they can talk to them about those things. Because, when somebody's talking to you about something, it always makes you feel a lot more comfortable. Did that answer that?
Yeah, I think so. And you mentioned the care plan, how important that care plan is. Mm-hmm. And I think that is a wonderful tool. We're going to be talking about that next time, really using that tool to get those person-centered needs met. Because when people say, no, you can't do that, many facilities say that out of fear that the individual, it's not a smart decision that they're making. So that's not fair that we're making decisions for other people. So, or fear that the facility is going to get in trouble. And so when you use that care plan, you actually are 100% empowering that person to be able to use that as a tool to get their life's needs met. So I think that's wonderful that you are using this in that manner. Tell us about skydiving. I think you piqued a lot of our interest. Tell us about skydiving.
So Carrie can probably help me with that one too. So I guess about, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks ago, Carrie came to me and she's like, oh, hey, I have to ask you a question. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, Lynn really wants to go skydiving, and I think she was expecting me to say something different, and I was like, oh, okay, that would be fun, you know, when
Oh,
when it comes time, you know, I have no issue with you taking him skydiving. I think the issue is going to be finding a company, like you said, Carrie,
yes.
to
But-
do that.
And I'm looking for one, you know, we'll find one eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, for his
Mhm.
safety, I need to find somebody that can jump with a quadriplegic, even though that's not what he is. But that
Right.
makes sure that they're comfortable with how they would have to jump with him.
Mhm.
But it is, I mean, they've taken him for 5 of his 6 tattoos. One DSP in particular does a lot of outings with us, and 2 years ago, Lynn wanted to go to Six Flags, and all he wanted to do is ride roller coasters, and I'm not riding roller coasters. Sorry, too old, just, but no, nobody questions it. One person said, he has seizures. I said, yeah. Doctor said if he wants to do it, let him do it. So they really do let us do this. And when we find the place to skydive that can do it safely, we will.
Mhm.
And partially because they will encourage me to keep looking and let him, because it's something he wants to do.
Well,
Yeah.
you meant, I mean, that's one of the principles of Pioneer, of the Pioneer Coalition, is that risk taking is a normal part of life.
Yes.
And that risk could be anywhere from skydiving to being the diabetic and having ice cream.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be skydiving, but it is a risk that an individual decides to take for their life. And that's wonderful that you are allowing all sorts of risks, because that is part of what we should be empowered to do as individuals and living in a long-term care community. I love that comment that you had on one of your slides about they may change your address, but it's still your home. I think that that's a really great message to be sending to your staff. So I'm also very curious, because sounds like some challenging things. You showed this great menu. I think I'm going to order from it tonight.
Yeah.
Fantastic menu. How do you do that? I mean, how can you serve people so many different things at the same, when they're all at the same time? Talk about that.
Well, I don't really know what happens in the kitchen. All I know is we write down what we want and then we get it when it comes out of there. But I think that it's been so long that we've been doing that. It's hard to even remember the challenges with it. I believe that when we first started, we only had like 3 or 4 options on the a la carte, like a hamburger and a hot dog and peanut butter sandwich, that sort of thing. And we have tried a couple of different things. We've tried having 2 separate menus for lunch, like a chicken entree and a beef entree, and then your starch and your vegetables. And we were still finding that we had quite a bit of waste. So we went back to the one menu and then just added more to the a la carte. Courtney, my dietary manager, she really gets out there in the community and talks to the individuals to find out what it is that they would like. But it works. It seems to work, and I don't think we have near the food waste that you do when you just have this that you're going to serve.
So a trial and error in a lot of ways, and learning from our experience. We've been doing it for so long, we've tried it different ways. I mean, just like about the food temperatures, trying to find the best piece of equipment to keep the hottest food, in trays. Plus, we used to, I know with COVID we don't, but have household serving too,
Yeah.
where there was food in each of the households that smaller groups ate. With COVID, that's somewhat changed, but we hope to get back to that practice too.
Did that answer your question?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have actually know that one of the techniques to get people to want to make a dietary change is to take a look at that food waste, because many people are like, well, it's more expensive. But in the long run, one of the things that I know has been a catalyst to change is to actually just take a garbage can and clear those plates into that garbage can for one day, and put all those garbage cans from every dining room in together and see how much food is wasted. And then go to a more person-centered practice and do the same thing. And you see a big cut in the amount of waste, because people are ordering what it is that they want.
Right.
They're not forced to eat this food that just comes out on a tray, and then the food comes out and they say, I don't want this. I want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So now that whole plate just goes right in the garbage.
Right.
So it's really interesting. And I'm hearing some of the language that you're using. You're using language like community, and you talked about language and the importance of language. You're using the language households. And why are you using words like this, and why is language so important to you?
It's respectful.
Yeah. Yeah.
To individuals that we're supporting.
Respectful, more dignified. It just really gets away from that institutional feel. Just using the right words or correct words makes a big difference in I think how staff see these folks as a person.
Yeah, I might add, I forgot to mention this, but one of the things that we attended an Illinois Healthcare Conference this year, and there was a company called See Me showing what they have, and it's a customer service training and compassionate care. And it's basically 15 modules that staff can watch and learn from on appropriate customer care, that the individuals we support, they're our customers. And just like Marriott and all those others, they deserve the respect that all of us deserve. And so the words are important. But in addition to that, that's the continuous learning, finding new tools, and helping develop that, using the right language. Not everybody uses it. We mess up a lot of times, but we can catch each other a lot better and continue to improve it as we go.
I would like to, that Pat Siegel, what criteria do you use to determine suitability for your environment? Are you talking about the individuals that we accept and move in?
I'm reading that way, like they're asking about a resident. That'd be how I'm.
And Pat, if you're not comfortable, you can type it in. If you're not comfortable unmuting yourself, you can go ahead and type it in, or if you need assistance being unmuted, I can help you with that as well.
Okay, having trouble with.
So Pat, do you want to?
I'm typing. I'm talking about residence requirements. In other words, what are the criteria that the individual resident needs to, how independent do they have to be? How much medical care can handle or not handle? Is there an age limit?
We have a huge variety of people. Really, our only criteria is that we have to be able to meet their needs. We're a skilled nursing facility. We have people there with advanced dementia. We have people there who require 2 people to provide all of their ADL care.
Okay.
We have people that come after they have a stroke and rehab to home. So we are a traditional skilled nursing facility.
Okay.
But then in our ICFDD, we have a huge range of individuals too. These guys require their high medical needs. So most of them have high medical things, G tubes, breathing issues. 97% of them cannot communicate with us, are in a wheelchair, require somebody to move them from point A to point B. So we have people who require a lot of care. It's not an assisted living type setting, or people who are independent and can, take care of themselves primarily.
Right. Got it. Thank you.
Another technique that you talked about doing learning circles with staff. What's a learning circle?
Oh, it's been a little while since we've done one of those, but you get a group of people, some
I mean,
You can go ahead,
so
yeah.
so there may be there's a topic or a theme or a question that we're trying to find answers to, is an example, and we bring all people involved in that, our team members, our staff, a lot of times families, individuals we're supporting in a circle. And I like talking sticks, so I would use a talking stick. But we're asking this question, and we want to hear from everybody what their thoughts and opinions are. So a stick is held by the person talking, and the respect by everybody else is that let them talk and give their information and pass it on to whoever's got information. So it's a process that allows everybody to share their thoughts and ideas, which is wonderful because you get a lot of great thoughts and ideas on how you might be able to get through a barrier or a challenge, or come up with something new. And most of the time we figure it out. We solve the problem or know what the next step is. That's been a great tool, especially starting out in person-centered care, by saying, okay, what's our first step? What's the most important thing that we want to start with? Because you got to start somewhere. Just start with something. So if you got the whole team involved, there's more buy-in.
So it gives everybody a voice.
Gives everybody a voice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a great idea, because you also talked about these surveys that you do, and how you survey staff. What do you do with that information when you get it from them? You just put it in a filing cabinet, or do you?
Oh.
Well, we listen, we review it, you
Yeah.
know, at our QA committee meetings. We do
Okay.
quarterly ones. My social services in my SNF, right before our quarterly QA meeting, you know, the 2 or 3 or 4 months before that, she calls like 2 or 3 families, and she'll do a satisfaction survey with a couple of family members and a couple of residents, and then she'll bring them to the QA committee. And if there's issues, we work on those problems to see how we can correct them, see if it's affecting other people in the building. Is it just something that is just affecting that person? You know, just that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I mean, a survey and a questionnaire is a motivator to us as an organization to challenge us. How are we going to get this score out better next time, you know, in these particular areas? And so learning circle or quality assurance committees or families or whatever, it's just a challenge. We don't put them in the drawer because we're paying for them, for one thing, and we want to get better at what we do, always better. We want to learn, we want to develop it, and create better ways to get better results.
So this is one of those really accepting that there's going to be difficulties, and
Yeah.
I think that's an important message for everybody to hear, is that taking care of people, period, whether it's at home, whether it's in a skilled facility, whether it's in a hospital, it's not easy. And sometimes I think we think that we've got to do it perfect. And while people deserve perfect, life isn't perfect. And if we think we're doing it perfectly, then we don't recognize the need to change and the need to talk about it and figure out what change could look like. And if we have one person just deciding what change looks like, it might not meet the needs of everybody. So it's wonderful the way you're bringing in conversation from all your sources, all the people that it affects, to bring them to that table to figure out how to do it differently, how to do it better. And sometimes that better may not work. And then you got to figure it out again. You know, so that's really cool.
So just one more thing. One thing
absolutely.
about feedback too, is that the surveys are nice, but that's annually or quarterly. We want families to bring those concerns in a way that, as well as ideas and thoughts, I mean, every day, so we don't have to wait till the survey to fix them, because we want better scores on the survey. So we hope and invite families to bring their concerns and issues regularly to us at the time, rather than waiting for that.
Yes, like I had said before, usually when I'm talking to a family member or somebody that's going to be moving in, it's definitely one of the things I say to them is that we're not perfect and we don't proclaim to be perfect. If you come in and you see something that you don't like, let somebody know, or let me know right away, because what we don't know, we can't fix. And we all know people, the more they come in and they see the same thing that's bothering them, the more upset they become and the more upset they become. And it doesn't always have to be that way if you have a good a partnership with your family and your residents.
That's a great philosophy. We have a question. Are you classified as a nonprofit, and how do you fund to raise to offset the expense?
Well, we are a for-profit organization.
Okay.
And
That's important for people to hear.
Yes, we are for-profit, and we don't, we do, I mean, our activities does fundraisers for special fun things. We've gotten contributions that we carry on to our activities to use those contributions for special things that the resident council or the families want to do, like our events and stuff. But we are for profit, and I just have to, I mean, I also do the budget. So we have to live within a budget, and we make it work, although I have to say, again, we'd rather be able to pay our direct care staff a lot more than we're paying them. And we need help, advocating that they deserve more because they're doing the hard work. And I can only budget what I can budget. So
yeah.
To offset the expense too, I think people have this idea that when you do culture change or person-centered care, that there's a huge expense to it. And it doesn't really have to be that way. Obviously we did some environmental changes and, equipment for the meals, but all the other stuff is really just about doing the right thing for the individuals that live there. It's more of about a feeling and a dedication and wanting to give them the best life that they can give. Like I said, just because they no longer live at the residence that they did for 50 years doesn't mean that they can't live the same way when they move to Clinton Manor.
Well, I would be curious if people that are on our call today, if they would type into the chat something that they could do to help be empowered, whether it's for a loved one, whether it's if you're a professional who works in the field, but something that you can do to help promote person-centered care, whether it's in the building you live, whether it's in the building a loved one lives in, or whether it's if you work, like I said, if you work in the path, what you can do to help promote person-centered care. Throw that into the chat, because that might help give the rest of us some more empowerment to move forward. So go ahead. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Listen, that's really good. That's the very first one that came in there. So that's really great. Provide education. Phenomenal. So keep those coming in there, because this will help all of us. Someone's saying they're going to take a client some clothing. They're going to find ways to show them their creativity, because what you did talk about, you talked about things that didn't cost, bringing in, making the room look like home. That does not cost the facility anything, like you said, besides maybe the maintenance man hanging it up, which is something that they're doing anyway with anything that's in the room. And I like that list of what you had for the staff and the benefits that you provide for them. And if you looked at that list closely, a lot of this stuff is stuff that other long-term care providers are all doing. You did get creative, like with the loans and that stuff, but some of the other things that were there, it's just to put it all in one place. People realize what a great place they work for when you see it all in one place. So it was another really cool thing that you guys did. It's just, you guys have really made life good for those people that you live there. I will say probably some people are thinking, well, geez, I got such low staffing ratios. Their staffing, they don't have to care for that many people. And like you said, Michael, if we can get more support financially through legislative means, that would be a help, so that other facilities could take that and just take that bull by the horn and be able to have more staff in their buildings as well. But we do know that is a barrier for people, but the things that, a lot of the things that you shared do not require more staff to do that. So I want to thank you very much today. And if you could keep those coming in, like as always, I will be staying on this call if anybody wants to unmute and talk, bring anything forward, put any topics in there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw up our poll. And so that we could see how well you enjoyed this conversation today. Feel free to please type other topics into the chat box as well. And we're getting a lot of people really feeling this was very beneficial. So that's wonderful to see. We're really glad. I can't thank you enough, Michael, and I can't thank you enough, Cheryl, and also Samantha working in the background. Really can't thank you guys enough for taking the time out of your day today to share how we could do better for those people that we care for. So thank you so much. There are lists of the ombudsman is in your chat box, and I'm going to go ahead and I am going to stop recording, but I'll be staying on. So anybody wants to stay on and chat a little bit more, please feel free. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.